Okay, so we're going to finish up the notes that we missed, that we didn't finish up in class. And this is talking about the angle measures in polygons, triangles, and quadrilaterals. All right, so first thing we need to understand is the difference between an exterior angle and an interior angle. So if we have a quadrilateral like this, if we extend one of the sides, so here's a side, we're going to extend it outside the quadrilateral. And when we do that, we form an exterior angle. So that angle 1 there is called an exterior angle. You extend one of the sides, and then outside the polygon you have this exterior angle. And then 2 is an interior angle. So the angles inside the polygon are called interior angles. And what you notice here is that angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary, just like we talked about in class today. If you have two angles that make a completely straight line all the way like that, that's 180 degrees. So angle 1 and angle 2 in that picture are supplementary. Now, for every polygon, the sum of the exterior angles of any polygon, no matter how many sides it has, is always 360 degrees. Because when we have gone all the way around the outside of a polygon, we have made just one complete turn. So you can kind of think about it as walking around a track. When you walk all the way around the track, you have just turned your body around one time, 360 degrees. So if it's a triangle, you turn there, then you turn there, then you turn there, and you get back to the beginning. That's 360 degrees. For a square, quadrilateral, you're going 360. All the way around the outside is always 360. So whenever you go around the outside of any polygon, you have turned 360 degrees. The sum of the exterior angles of a polygon is always 360 degrees. So anytime somebody asks you, like me, what is the sum of the exterior angles of a pentagon? Is 360. What is the sum of the exterior angles of a triangle? Is 360. What is the sum of the exterior angles of a 10-sided figure? 360. It's always going to be 360 for the exterior angles. Now it's going to be different for the interior angles. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is always going to be 180. 60, 60, 60. 3 angles that add up to 180. So it's only 60, 60, 60 when you have an equilateral triangle, but whatever the triangle looks like, the angles inside it are always going to add up to 180. So this is the main thing you need to remember, is that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle will always be 180. The sum of the interior angles of any quadrilateral is going to be twice that much, or 360, because every quadrilateral can be broken into 2 triangles. And so anytime you want to find the sum of the interior angles of some figure, you can figure it out by breaking that figure up into triangles, because every triangle has interior angles that add up to 180. The exterior angles, 360. Every shape, all the polygons. Some of the exterior angles is going to always be 360, but for a triangle, the interior angles for the different polygons will have a different sum for depending on how many sides that they have. It'll always be different. So remember that a triangle is 180 on the inside. Some of the interior angles is 180. And then you can figure out the sum of the interior angles of any other polygon by just breaking it up into triangles. All right, so for a 4-sided figure, you can break it up into 2 triangles like this. 180 plus 180 makes a total of 360 for a quadrilateral. If you have a pentagon like this, you can break it up into 3 triangles. 180, 180, 180. So the sum of the interior angles of a pentagon is going to be 180 times 3, which is 540. So the interior angles of different polygons, depending on their number of sides, will be different, but the exterior angles will always add up to 360. All right, so let's look at some examples. All right. This question says, what is the measure of angle A in triangle ABC? All right, well, you've got the measure of angle B and the measure of angle C, and you're looking for the measure of angle A. Well, we just learned that all the angles inside of a triangle will add up to 180. So I've got 60 and 70. 60 plus 70, that's 130 degrees. So the question is, how much more do I need to get to 180? That'll be A. So 180 minus 130 is 50. So angle A has to be 50 degrees in order for all three angles to add up to 180. So that would be 50 degrees. All right, now we've got a quadrilateral here. It says, what is the measure of angle T in quadrilateral QRST? Well, they've given us all these angles, and they're asking us, what is angle T? Well, in a quadrilateral, the interior angles add up to 360 because it's two triangles. All right, so I've got 80, 80, and 110. So if I add those up, I'm going to get 270. So angle T will have to be 360 minus 270 to figure out how all four angles will add up to 360. So if we do this subtraction, 16 minus 7 is 9, so 90 degrees. Angle T has to be 90 degrees in order for all four of those to add up to 360. All right, so a triangle, the interior angles add up to 180. A quadrilateral, the interior angles add up to 360. All right, so let's look at a few more. Quadrilateral ABCD is divided into two triangles by segment AC. What is the sum of the measures of angle 1, measure of angle 2, and measure of angle 3? All right, there's 1, 2, and 3. They're all inside this triangle. Triangle adds up to 180, all the interior angles, so those guys add up to 180. They are the interior angles of a triangle. What's the sum of measure of angle 4, measure of angle 5, and measure of angle 6? Actually, I forgot to put the 6 in. Just go there. Again, that's a triangle. Those are the interior angles of a triangle, so they add up to 180. What is the sum? Good grief, that's terrible. The sum of the measures of the four interior angles of the quadrilateral. So in the quadrilateral now, we're talking about these angles all together. And we know that the sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral is 360. So we don't even have to figure that out. We just know that all adds up to 360. And that makes sense because two triangles make a total of 360. All right. What is the measure of angle P? All right, so you've got a triangle here. You know that one angle is 75 and one is 30. So 75 plus 30 is 105. So to figure out the third angle, I can just subtract that from 180, and that gives me 75 for P. So 75 plus 75 plus 30 adds up to 180, and that's what it's supposed to be in a triangle. What is the measure of each interior angle of a regular quadrilateral? All right, a regular quadrilateral is a rectangle. Well, it's actually a square. Regular means all the same sides and all the same angles. So I've got a regular quadrilateral. I know that all those interior angles need to add up to 360, and they're all the same. All right, so whatever these angles are, they're all the same. So the measure of each interior angle, if there are four of those, so 4x is going to be 360. And so what do you multiply by 4 to get 360? That would be 90. So all those angles, as you probably already figured out, are 90 because this is a square, and squares have 90-degree angles. They're all equal and they all add up to 360, so each one has to be 90.